couldn't hear me at all. So we're going to try this again, and hopefully this will go better. I just thought I'd show off how my gear is loaded out currently, and this is really how I've played most of the game. Maybe not all of it, but most of it, you know, when I got to certain pieces. You can kind of see that my preferred look for Cassandra, when I've played as Cassandra, I have not started a Game Plus, so this is the only version I've played. And I have her look kind of basic. I don't like a real armored up look for her, it just doesn't seem right, so this is how I have her looking. But anyway, I thought I would, before I start, kind of give you an idea of what my play style looks like. And, you know, I like to play a warrior style, essentially, so we will take on the Beast of Sparta here and just show that off a little bit. I like to use a lot of fire as I'm playing, and that'll probably come out in this, or you'll probably see that. Some overpower attacks, those kind of things. I don't use a lot of assassin or hunter abilities, so you know, we won't see those, especially here in the arena. You're not going to see them, but this is kind of where I'm at right now. I'm at level 99, so you know, about as far as I can go that way. I've got everything geared up to 99, and you'll see that in a few minutes. But we'll start off. When I'm in the arena, I like to start off with an overcharged spear and kind of do one of those, and then hit one of these guys like that, and maybe hit another one of these guys like that. You can see my spear's already on fire, and I think they changed the spear fire thing, because it used to be just the really kind of the tip of the spear, and now it's more down, you know. Okay, here I'm going to use an overpower attack, and I am just going to get rid of those guys. And that's how I like to fight in forts as well. Use an overpower attack with a flaming spear. You'd be surprised how many people you can take out with that. So, actually used an arrow there. Kind of show you the same thing again. That overpowered spear attack. And there we go. Do the same thing again here. We'll get it charged up. Hit this dude. He's down. Oh, it's a boss dude. Oh no. How will I ever get him? A couple of arrows there. Sometimes I just throw those in, you know, as I'm running away. If I'm running away from somebody, I'll throw an arrow in. And here in a boss battle, if I'm one-on-one, I don't like the spear as much as I like a sword. I'd rather have a sword in a one-on-one battle, so I will switch to my sword, which isn't on fire, but I'll put it that way. Use an overpower attack. Knock him down a little bit. Well, okay, we'll knock him down all the way. So that's kind of my style. That even when I'm in a fort, I'll kind of play that way. And I'm mainly doing this for the Kettle, DA_Kettle_65 on Twitter, because he was the first one to tell me I had audio problems. So I appreciate that, and just want to say thanks. And I said I'd re-record it for him. So here we go. Also, while we're waiting on this to load, if you're not watching the Joe Raptor videos, go watch those, because they are really cool. And if you're playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you really need to be watching his videos, because he's got a lot of cool tips and tricks and coming things and news and everything. So go watch Joe Raptor, JORRAPTOR, one word. Best Assassin's Creed videos out there. So go check that out. Anyway, back to my loadout. Like I said, I'm level 99, and if you look around, you can see most of the map's going to have checks on it, because I have pretty much finished everything that I know. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you up front, I sit back farther from the TV than I'm currently am. So when you actually hear me talking, I've had to stand up and stand closer to the TV so that I could read the screen. And because of that, there's a lot of things I just either didn't see, or, you know, I couldn't read them. Like, I couldn't read, you know, I could tell you what those numbers were, but there's some other little things on here I couldn't read. So it's kind of cool for me to be standing up this close, because it's not something I normally do. A couple of things you're going to notice. I've got about 6.2 million drachmae, 275 orichalcum, and that's after finishing this week's challenge. I like to keep about 200 kind of in reserve in case something comes up in the shop that I might want to buy. And then, like, this is 275, so what I normally do is I'll buy a couple of Olympian gifts to get down to the 200 level every week, but that's kind of where I'm at there. Going over here to the cultists, and you can see that I have finished all the cultists. None of them are left standing, and all of the, I'm sorry, that was the Order of the Ancients, but either way, Cult of Cosmos, Order of the Ancients, doesn't matter, they're all dead. Mercenaries, I'm at level S4, which is the highest level, and I am at the top of that level, so whatever discounts or anything you get at S4, I get them. So there we go with that. My ship, the Adresta, I've got all of it outfitted as high as I can outfit it. Everything's up to legendary status. My RAM, my arrows, my crew. Looking over here on the lieutenants, I've got Demos, and he's got some fire arrow damage and some stamina refill rate. Evie, I have her mainly because I just really like Evie from that game. She's actually the one I played at in that game, but you got 50% damage on low health as a legendary perk, so that's kind of cool. Down here we've got 25% ship health recovery after boarding. That's important, and 30% ship health. And +1 firepower when starting a conflict, so that's always good as well. And you can see there's some other perks there as well, but needless to say, my ship's pretty much fully loaded. If you saw the other video I did taking out ships, I have a lot of fun with it now, so it's pretty easy. Artemission is the ship I'm using. It was one of the weekly challenge ships, I believe, but I just really like the red design of it. So I'm not using a legendary figurehead. I do have some. I just don't use them because, actually that one's kind of cool. I had that one on there for a while. But, like the Minotaur, and yeah, I've got them, but for me, I'd rather use the Eagle because it's Cassandra and she's the Eagle Bearer, so why wouldn't you have a ship with the Eagle Bearer on it? Should have been a legendary one, in my opinion. I have legendary crew as well. I've got the Daughters of Artemis and sorry, some guys here. The Held, I haven't tried them yet, but I might. I don't know. I got them in a Athenian gift or a Olympus gift. But I tend to stick with the female assassins. It's Cassandra. I think she'd have a female crew, so I wanted to pick something that kind of matched. If you actually look how I have my Cassandra dressed, she kind of matches them. So that's what I went with there. Abilities. I have 2 ability points hanging out over here. It looks like I have spent 64 on abilities and 90 on mastery levels, so that'll give you an idea of kind of what I've spent. If you look at my what I've got the Shield Breaker, Second Wind, and Second Wind is probably the most important one I use, or most frequent one I've used. And Flaming Attacks, I like that one as well because obviously I like to play with fire. I don't worry about the burn duration because I'll show you in a minute why I don't worry about that. But I've got it 3 of 3. I've got some other ones, Fire Mastery, obviously, because you get a little bit more fire buildup and duration, but damage is increased, main reason. Overpower attacks, got that. I do in the Assassin, I like the Rush of Assassination. That's kind of my stealth move, as stealthy as I get. And, you got Shadow Assassin, those kind of things. But if you look down at my wheel, I've got the Fire Attack and the Health Attack. This is Shield Breaker and Spartan Kick on this one. And then in the other one, I actually have the Flaming Attack and Second Wind in the same locations. That way, when I'm playing, I find that those are the 2 I use the most, and they're always in the same place, so I don't have to worry about switching from place to place. Because I had the Second Wind on one and a different ability in on the other spot on the second one, but it's hard to switch back and forth in the middle of a battle. So if you need Second Wind, you need it normally right when you need it. So I went ahead and put that on there as a double. And then, like I said, I have this one down here. This is the Rush Assassination. I like that one. And then the one up here, which is Hero Strike. Hero Strike's okay, but I actually prefer the Rush Assassination. I don't use the Hero Strike a whole lot. On the ranged weapon wheel, I've got Devastating Shot, but you'll notice I've only got it at 1 of 3. I don't use it. Predator Shot I do use occasionally. I don't use it in air. I've never liked that ability, and I think it's hard to control. But spread shot, I have used it, but you'll notice I don't have a whole lot of these up to like 3 of 3 or anything. This is one of the new ones, Might of Artemis. It's the one that makes it rain arrows. So I kind of like that one. I don't know why. It's a fun one I've found to use if you're on a ship. If you board a ship and then use that, you can hit a whole bunch of them at one time. So, I've got the spear up to level 6, I've got the staff up to level 6, so those are kind of what's going on there. My mastery levels, you can see I've got damage with spears. I like to fight with spear, so I've got some little extra damage there, but nothing really else on this hunter. And on the assassin, I've got a little extra assassin damage, just to kind of make up for the fact I don't have a lot of it. 10% adrenaline on parry, mainly because, as you saw, I like to play with like an overpowered, overcharged attack kind of thing. So I've got a little extra coming back there, and damage with swords, because I like to play with swords. And then an extra 10% elemental resistance, basically. And why? Well, when you use a lot of fire, you tend to set yourself on fire a lot, and when you do that, you gotta have resistance to it. So, health restored on successful parry. This is kind of like the one where you get damage back, or health back on a successful hit. I parry a lot, so I wanted to get health back on that. I've got 20 out of 20 here on my health, so I've got extra health, I've got extra armor, I've got extra melee resistance, and I've got extra fire damage. No surprise there if you were watching how I was playing. Moving over to my inventory screen, you can see there's Cassandra all in her gear. The way I have her geared up, it's very, like I said, it's very plain. I don't like a lot of flashy stuff. Even if I had the hood on, it's just kind of a plain cloth hood. It's no big fancy helmet or anything. So the set I am using is the Greek Hero set. And why am I using that? Well, I don't know. It's just kind of where I ended up. But it's got 30% all resistances, so that helps with that fire damage. I'm going to resist that a little better. And if you look on this is the crown, the helmet, I've got a 40% extra fire damage engraving, and a 40% chance to ignore half damage, 25% warrior damage. Going over here, I got another 60% to my total armor, so a little extra armor, a little extra health. Got some assassin damage there, but I don't use it quite the way that everybody else does. More total armor, melee resistance. That's important. More important than I thought it was originally. Here we go. 2% damage dealt restored his health. That kind of helps, again, with, as you're, especially if you're using fire, because if you set yourself on fire, but you're still getting some of that damage back as you hit other people, it helps. All arrows pierce shield is my choice here. Kind of an interesting one, just because it's off one of the legendary items, I think. But when I'm shooting arrows, I don't have a lot of arrow type ability, so this one's kind of important, because if a bad guy comes at me with a shield, I'd like to be able to hit him, especially because if you noticed, I was shooting some flaming arrows, and then you set them on fire. They're on fire while they're coming at you, and that's doing damage before they get to you. I do have legendary mounts. You can see I've got the skull flaming one, and I've got Riddle. I just got Riddle when it was in the shop. I've still got the original Phobos here, but hey, that's okay. Got the flaming Phobos as well. I guess that's the one you get in the Atlantis episode. But yeah, he's cool. But you know what? Cassandra needs a little whimsy to her, and she is a girl. She has a son, so to do that, I thought she needed something a little more feminine, and this is how she shows her femininity when I'm playing, by riding a unicorn, and his name is Mr. Sparkleton. So, I actually had I had two things. I had the Final Fantasy one in Origins, and I liked him. He was pretty cool, and I had the unicorn in Origins as well, and so that's one of the reasons I like playing with it, just because no one seems to notice it's a unicorn, but it is. I've got all the arrows here. You can see that they're all, I can build any of the arrows. I do have the automatic arrow crafting turned on. I've got 157,000 wood, because pretty much if, I will run towards a piece of wood and pick it up, just to try and collect as much as I can. But with that much, I really don't have to worry about running out of arrows anytime soon. And let's see here. My bow is the Hades bow, and you can see basic arrows become fire arrows, and 40% fire damage. So again, I like playing with fire, 10% all damage, just because, hey, it's a little extra damage. What will that hurt? Your damage here as well. But I really like the all arrows become fire, or basic arrows become fire arrows. So I just use basic arrows for almost everything. I don't switch them up and death arrows or whatever. It's just, I'd rather set them on fire, let them burn, and then you'll get that extra damage you would have got from the other stuff anyway, especially, if you got some distance between you and them, and you can keep the distance. A lot of the mercenaries, before I got to 99, that's what I would do. I'd try to stay, especially ones that didn't have a ranged attack, stay back as far as I could, avoid if they did have a ranged attack, try and avoid their ranged attack, and shoot fire arrows at them until they caught on fire, and just try and keep running until they fell down. My spear is Athena's spear. Oh, going back. I do have a couple other bows. I think this is maybe one from, I think it's from Elysium. Not sure. This one is Artemis's bow, and I actually used this one until I got the Hades bow. That's why it's got an engraving on it. Got some warrior damage added to it. It's got a predator shot, but you'll notice it's only level 45, and that must have been when I got the Hades bow. I also keep the Fang bow around, only because there's a few missions every now and then, a few quests every now and then, in the weekly ones, that you got to use poison arrows. So if I need to use poison arrows, here we go. They're automatically poison arrows, and it's a lot easier than trying to shift arrow types in the middle of a battle. Onto the spear. This is a Athena spear. Nothing fancy, but I've engraved this, and you'll notice that in the battle, it was actually on fire already, and that's because it's engraved with weapon damage becomes fire damage. So warrior damage, 10% all damage, and you can kind of see what's going on there. Sword of Damocles. I don't remember when I got that, but one of the more important engravings for me here is the -1 adrenaline cost for overpower abilities. You get some adrenaline per crit, but I don't worry about crits as much as other people do. It's just I haven't played that way, and like I said, my playstyle's pretty much stayed the same throughout all of this. So you can kind of see my stats. I've got some armor stats down here, 5'9", 6'7", 6". These aren't too far apart, so the spear and the sword, I do a little bit more damage, it looks like, with the sword, but, hey, that's okay. And let's just take a look at the detailed stats in case you're interested in that. My warrior damage up here, you can see 235% to the plus. Hunter damage is only 60, and assassin damage is plus 98, which isn't bad, but it's not, fantastic. 140% damage with headshots. Not sure quite where I got that from, but I'm sure it's one of the engravings or something. Damage with swords, that was that other one. Damage with spears, got a little extra there. Critical hit damage 100. Critical hit damage with full health 100. Critical hit damage 50, and then my percentages are about 15. So fire damage, here we go, 136.8%. So I've got a little extra fire damage going on there. 15 seconds, 160% on my build up, and my poison duration obviously isn't as good. So you can see the modifiers. 2% damage is health. All arrows pierce shields. Damage and health while in conquest. 10% adrenaline, -1 adrenaline for overpower attacks. Like I said, that's probably the most important one for the way I play. And then you can kind of see some of the defensive modifiers. My armor bonus is 330 and my health bonus is 40. So got a pretty good one going on there. My elemental resistance, about 60%. So I got quite a resistance to that. A lot more than to ranged weapons. So I try and stay away from people shooting arrows just because of that. Anyway, I don't have any quests open at the moment. I just thought I would give you guys a shot at taking a look. I'd give this another try. We'll go back through. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm kind of looking forward to the Heracles pack. I do not have near enough credits for it. I don't know if I'd buy any or not to get it. I do like the idea if I could get that Heracles pack with the chest with immune to all fire. The way I play, we'll do Athenians this time. I would really love that because the way I play, I end up on fire a lot. One of my favorite tactics in a fort is I'll get into even a small room with maybe a door or two doors and let enemies come in and attack me, and then I will basically take that flaming spear and use that to defend myself. And I can just keep pouring through the doors, but because there's just limited points into a room like that, I can normally defend myself. Get to be like 4 or 5 of them in there. As I'm backing up, I'll whip out the flaming spear and use that. And then normally it works pretty well. Use an overpower attack. That was a charged weapon there. We can get these guys though pretty quick. One thing is because I haven't done a game plus, my arena's still at level 50 enemies. So normally in a fight, I don't fight quite this well, but it's okay. You can see I've got the hero attack going on here. If you want to see that, I can do that. There he goes, down with the spear. There, through him. Okay. The shield. See if I can get this guy to. There, yeah, there we go. Oh, that didn't kill him. I'm kind of surprised. So you'll see that I'm going to try and set myself on fire here. Maybe. Yeah, I know. We can do it. You'll notice, though, that because these guys are level 50, I'm not taking really any damage. And now I'm on fire, and I'm not really taking any damage either. So you'll notice there I got a little jump back. Got some damage, so my health bar stayed pretty constant in these. Nice little charged attack. But again, if I can get them, I'll try and lead these guys around to where I can get them all, like where I know I can get them with the spear. So if they can follow me here, and I will just kind of maybe parry till some of them get over here. Then I'll use the overpower attack when I know I can get more than one at a time. That's why I like the spear, and especially against multiple enemies. Single enemies not so much, but multiple enemies. You can see even with just the regular charged up and not overpowered attack there, it caught 2 of them. So that's cool. And I was thinking there was an arrow dude in this. Yep, there he is. And we'll go take him out. So I'll just kind of, like I said, stay back, pump out some fire arrows, and life's good. Again, my strategy for a single one-on-one, a little different. I'll tend to use a sword. I'll set it on fire. Use the shield breaker there. Really helpful against these kind of enemies where they're like a captain or something. Use that shield breaker. Get them, knock their shield off, because then it's much easier to hit them. And we'll use a nice little, missed the Spartan kick there. We'll use her overpower attack. Now I didn't have it on fire, so he's not going to take as much damage this time, but that's okay, because we just about got him. Wonder if I can get him with a, not the one I wanted, but anyway, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope the audio is much better this time. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Bye.